Hey you guys, and welcome back. Today I have a fun little video for you guys. I wanted to take just a couple of minutes to share with you some of my favorite cosmetic items for oily skin. If you want to see what they are, just stay tuned. Around my channel for any length of time at all, then you are already familiar with the fact that I have oily skin, super oily skin. And guess what I have found out? Through all of my research about oil production and all of that kind of stuff, did you know that if your skin already tends to be oily and you let it get dry, it gets even oilier? Totally doesn't even make sense to me, you guys, but that is true. If you tend to have very active oil glands and your skin stays a little on the shiny side, if you go a period of time without taking care of your skin and you let it get dry, it actually gets oilier because your skin is trying to produce more oil to compensate for the dryness that it feels. So go figure. Wish I would have known that years ago. Well, because of that little tidbit of information that I found out, I've actually gotten a lot better about keeping my skin moisturized and hydrated, which I have to be honest with you, that is not something that I ever did on a consistent basis. I live here in Florida, and when I was young, it was all about that golden tan, and I was constantly in the sun. Oh my goodness, and actually have quite a bit of sun damage. You can't necessarily notice the sun damage as much on my face as you do other areas of my body, especially my neck and the décolleté area. Oh my goodness, it's in pretty rough shape, you guys, and I didn't realize and understand just how important the moisturizing thing was when I was younger, because your skin is just naturally viable and it looks good when you're young and it has its elasticity, and who's thinking about getting older when you're super young? But for those of you who are still fairly young, let me go ahead and tell you, take care of yourself now, because when you get to be my age, trying to reverse the effects of aging and sun and normal wear and tear can be quite difficult. And as they say, you want to age gracefully, so start taking care of it now. Let me go ahead and say this is not a sponsored video. None of these companies know that I'm talking about their products today. They are just some products that I have fallen in love with and that absolutely work for me. Now keep in mind, everyone is a little different. Everybody's skin is a little different. So even if you are super oily like I am, it still doesn't necessarily mean these products will work for you. I'm just sharing you today what's been working for me, because for too long I had a hard time finding makeup products or skincare products that would help my makeup to stay on for longer than a couple of hours before it would just start melting away. So here we go. First of all, like I've already said, it is important to keep your skin hydrated and moisturized. And for me, I find the best moisturizer is this Advanced Hydration Complex from New Healthy Skin. Some of you guys are going to remember her as Dr. Barbara over at Better Health Naturally. I have talked about her products before. I've talked about her hormone cream especially. I'll have that video linked for you down below in case you think you might need a little hormone therapy. But this is amazing. I cannot even tell you. I have used all kind of over-the-counter L'Oreal, Oil of Olay, Garnier, all kinds of products that you can buy at the drugstore, and by far this stuff beats it all hands down. You do have to order this through her website. It's not something that you can get in a store, but trust me, you guys, it is definitely worth the money. I have noticed a big increase in the appearance of my skin since I've started using that, and I actually do have less oil production when I'm using that. I know it doesn't seem to make sense, but it is true. The next item is that you guys need a really good primer if you have oily skin, because chances are you're gonna have larger pores than most other people. You want to minimize the look of those pores, and you want to make sure that they're staying good and clean down on the inside. So the toner that I use is also from Better Health Naturally and Dr. Barbara. This is the Normalizing Tonic Forte. This stuff is incredible. Again, definitely worth the money. Obviously, it's going to be more expensive than drugstore, but if you're going for something that's really going to work, sometimes the investment is worth it, especially when we're talking about our skin. Now let's talk about some cosmetic items, because we've just talked about the foundation. You have to have a great foundation to build on, you guys, which does, by the way, include drinking plenty of water and staying hydrated. That's really going to help your skin. But to talk about the cosmetic items, we have to talk about the base that you build on. A good primer is important when you have oily skin. I use the matte primer from Ulta. Now, I have tried other brands, and there are other brands out there that are good, but as far as the cost versus the productivity of the product, hands down, this has become my favorite. Very often, Ulta will run sales where you can buy 2 products and get a 3rd one free. And they've even run the sales before where you buy 2 and get 2 free. That's the time to stock up on your primers. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is like $18 for the tube. But when they run their deals and their specials like that, it ends up making your final purchase cost, I want to say, around $6 or $6.50 per tube. That is an awesome purchase price for such a great product, and it does work. I'm telling you guys, y'all know how busy our Sundays are. I apply my makeup around 6 o'clock in the morning on Sundays. We don't get home until around 11 o'clock p.m. on Sundays, and my makeup, for the most part, is still intact. That's right. So definitely invest in a good primer, and I highly recommend this one from Ulta. Speaking of the primers, another one that I like to mix with that is the Smashbox primer. This is the Photo Finish color correcting primer. You'll notice that it's green because, ladies, most of the time our hormone cause this area right in here to be quite red, and mine is extremely red, like Rudolph red, you guys. So I use this. I apply this on the bottom. You guys have seen me do that many a times in Get Readies with me. And then I applied this one just right on that whole little nose area to cut down on the redness, and it works wonderfully well. As far as the foundation is concerned, once you get your primer and your foundation on and you lock it in with a good mattifying powder, then pretty much any of the other products are going to work great for you. You can just about use any highlighter or blush or any of that kind of stuff. So I'm only going to cover the buildable foundational type products with you today. But for the foundations, I absolutely love the CoverGirl Outlast, and I equally as much love the Revlon Colorstay. These are by far my 2 favorites as far as drugstore affordable ones. I have also been trying out the Urban Decay All-Nighter Foundation, I believe is what it's called. I had gotten a little sample the last time that we were at Sephora, and I am loving that one as far as a high-end foundation. But for just an affordable drugstore, over-the-counter type foundation, I am loving these 2. These really do stay on, and they stay pretty matte throughout the day. Now, if you don't want a mattifying look, you may not enjoy those products, but I, however, do like the mattifying look because the oil's still going to come through. There's no way to avoid it, and this gives me a nice balance. For the powder, I love the Rimmel Stay Matte. It's very inexpensive. You can buy it at any drugstore or big box store like Walmart or Kmart, any of those places, and I love this stuff. It's not translucent. It does say transparent, but it does have just a little bit of color to it, so you do want to bear that in mind when you're picking that up so that you don't darken over your foundation too much. And then for the eyes, Urban Decay Primer Potion. hands down, so far, the best I've used. Now, there are other ones that I do enjoy as well, but I have found if I want to keep my eyeshadows from creasing throughout the day, especially if I have a really long day, then nothing beats the primer potion from Urban Decay. I have extremely oily lids. I can't even kind of describe to you how much oil there is on these lids, and I need a good primer, and I am so happy that I came across that a few years ago, and it has been a mainstay in my regimen. And then to finish all of that off, I love the De-Slick spray from Urban Decay. Now, Urban Decay also has, I believe there's one called the All-Nighter spray. There's several different setting sprays that they have, but I have found for me and for the oily skin, then the De-Slick is the one that works the best. And of course, you just spritz it right on your face when you get all done applying your makeup, and I absolutely love it. These are the products that I have found really work well for oily skin. And so for all of those of you out there who have an oily skin, these are the products that I would recommend. I'll have them all listed for you again down below, just in case you have forgotten or weren't writing them down as I was talking about them. Just encourage you to try them out. It may work for you, it may not work for you, but they certainly work for me, and I absolutely love each one of them. All right, so I think that's all the information that I have for you today. I want to thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next video.